So welcome my dear students. Welcome to class 7 history chapter 1 changes through thousand years. So this is the part 2 of this lesson. Part 1 we have already completed in the last video. So in this lesson we are going to see different sources of history. We know that we are able to find out different sources. From these sources only we'll be able to know how the historical background or how the history was prevalent in different period. We already studied about ancient, medieval and modern. So we are right now we are on our medieval period. So how was the literary sources or archaeological sources? So the history can be the main frame or it can be divided into two sources. One is literary sources and second is archaeological sources. So what do you mean by literary? Literary means it can be mean the literary sources during the ancient or historical period was that the literary was either it was transferred from orally from one generation to other generation or from people to people or person to person. So and they what orally means from mouth to mouth. That is what you can see one image at the top. So all this orally spoken was being written down, and this written down sources, that is these literary sources, include some written down of chronicles, accounts and other literary sources. So through these kind of method they used to write down various kind of incidents and various kind of sources of the discussion of various kind of dynasties, various kind of kingdoms, rulers, regional kingdoms. Everything were written based on those literary works, and all were written down and recorded. And whereas archaeological sources, it is not a written record or anything, but it is a kind of evidence, or let's say it's a kind of evidence that taken from digging or excavation. Excavation sense that we used to, whenever there is a kind of an, or whenever there is a all kind of historical place or historical monuments, if we set some of the monuments in the near to the lands or some surroundings, you'll be able to find out various n number of statues, monuments and different type of paintings, coins and everything. So that is what archaeological sources means. So from archaeological sources we get n number of coins and artifacts, monuments, buildings, inscription, edits. From these all, when we are studying all these in detailing individual and detailed study of each on each of this individual detailed study, you will be able to get different kind of historical background in which time period this coins was being introduced and which was the kingdom. So all these were able to get studied because of the archaeological sources. So now we are moving to the first topic, that is literary sources. So literary sources mean during the medieval period, number of chronicles, accounts, and literary treatises were written, and n number of writers were therefore writing down this number of chronicles, accounts, and literary sources. Some of them were written down here. Apart from these, the account of Mokoran travel Ibn Battuta, who visited in India subcontinent in the 14th century, is also an important source of medieval history. Beyond that, literary sources for the Mughal period include some of the famous writers and famous books, and some of the autobiographies of Mughal empires also one of the important sources of literary sources. And next we are moving to the archaeological sources. Archaeological sources, we already have given a small definition introduction about archaeological sources. And first we are moving to the subtopic of first archaeological sources, that is coins and other artifacts. We know that in medieval period there are n number of coins and different kind of kingdoms. So coins were issued by every important ruler. The coins were of different types. The coins were either gold or silver. During this reign of Sultan Al-Uddin Khalji, a book on coins titled Darya Parisha was written with explanation of importance of coins and economy. So, with the help of coins, we can understand how the economy was and what kind of society and how the kingdom was there and what type of trade was going on. So everything can be understood with the help of these coins. And during those period, two type of coins was present. One is for gold and silver. And let's move on moving to the second archaeological topic, that is sources, that is monuments and building. We know that monuments and building plays one of the important roles in the in the kind of history. And through monuments and building we get n number of sources of information. How was the period, what type of rule was going on. From the paintings inside the monuments and buildings we get more information. So a large number of monuments and buildings were constructed from 8th century to 13th century. century. So this is the time period in which lot many monuments and buildings were built on in the in the kind of century in the historical sources, whereas temples were dedicated to different gods were built by rulers of regional kingdoms across the Indian subcontinent. During those period, the kings or rulers they used to dedicate or give to the I mean dedicate or give some of the temples for gold to build to the rulers of regional kingdoms across the Indian subcontinent. And third, we can say that during Sultanate, Mughal rule, a large number of mosques were built in different style across the Indian subcontinent. If you see the second image, you will be able to see a mosque. That is the mosque, the design of the mosque. You will be able to see n number of places and a different type of mosque. But each mosque construction and infrastructure is be different from one to the other. So different type of styles of infrastructure were created for building out the mosque during the Sultan of the Mughal rule. Different tools like weapons, paintings, and beyond this period were discovered in large number. These tell us about the lifestyle of both economic and social, and that are all the importance of monuments and buildings as an overview. And now let's move on with the inscription and edits. Inscription means, let's say, about some of the writings. So let's see what are the inscriptions and what are edits. So inscription and edits are one of the important sources of medieval history. Most of them are in the form of royal orders. Inscriptions from South India contain proclamation by king and gift to temples and learned men, some seen on copper plates and or temple plates. That is, you can see some of the images of copper plates or temple plates. So with this place they used to write, this is a place they used to write the proclamation, the king's proclamation, and give to the temples were learned by men. So these were the inscription edits during those period. And next we are going to see how these kind of sources are very important or useful for this history. Archaeological sources like temples, mosques, and various monuments built during medieval period was rich sources of religious and cultural history. Painting created by various artists from different regional backgrounds shows a variety of art style and techniques. Coin issued by different rulers tell us about the economic condition of different kingdoms and trade relations with other kingdoms. Scripts copied manuscripts because there was no printing press at time. These records give a lot of information about the rulers, their dynasty, policies, techniques of warfare, etc. So the first point, let us discuss the first point. Archaeological sources like temples, mosques, and various monuments. So what do you mean by various monuments and these period? That is, archaeological sources from all these kind of buildings gives us more information about two things. One is about the rich sources of religious and about the cultural history. So these two information we get from the archaeological sources. Whereas paintings, that is during those times we know that paintings has got more importance. The paintings is created by artists from regional with different regional places. They use different type of styles and techniques. So if you see each historical building, if you visit one historical building on old paintings and if you compare with that painting with other old let's say about a monument or temple, we will not be able to find a similar kind of painting. Each building or each monument painting style and the way they were presented of painting is will be something different. It's because of the artistic and the style and techniques used by each regional kind of artist. So that is regarding the paintings created during the historical sources. And next moves, we have already seen about the coins. We know that different rulers used to publish different type of coins, and these coins have more importance in trade relations with other kingdoms also. And these coins have more importance, and these coins were kind of an emblem, or these coins were the emblem and the kingdoms. So these coins determine how powerful the kingdom was and what type of kingdom and what type of what type of relation and trade relation in trade, the relation in kind of and social and political and cultural background. Everything will be determined with the help of coins. The last topic of this, how the history is I mean history is also useful, is because of the scriptures copied and the manuscript. because there was no printing press at that time. These records give a lot many information about the rulers, their dynasties, policies, techniques, and warfare, etc. So these are some of the how history is useful, and history sources is useful in the medieval period. And this is all regarding how changes take place in thousand years. And so by this we have come to end of this chapter of history 1. Thank you, my dear students.